Of the United States. Big Daddy with you. We are not reviewing movies tonight. We are talking about something real. This is for our Big Daddy Speaks Politics Now YouTube channel. And I'm going to cover something that I'm going to be revisiting a lot over the next few months, weeks, years, whatever, because it seems to be one of our most blatant problems. It stays in the news. And for the white population, it's probably not as big a problem. They don't see it. But for anybody who's any darker than a paper bag, trust me, we've had problems with it. And it's now that we have technology that shows it off, it shows up in the news almost every day. I load up on my site, on my YouTube fan site, Big Daddy Speaks, another video almost every day now, to the point that I'm gagging on this. And what I'm talking about, which you probably figured out already, is cop abuse. And I've got some points I want to make, and because we will be revisiting this subject in depth, and the things I'm going to bring up now, I'll be coming back to over the next days, weeks, and months, and talking about each of these in depth. But tonight I want to get something off my chest, out of my craw, and just get it out, just so I can get the subject addressed. And it is enough. I feel emotional enough about that. This is my first broadcast, other than my introductory broadcast. But this cop abuse is going to be my first broadcast under the Big Daddy Speaks Now channel. So let me delve right into it, because I want to waste a lot of time. First off, the cops. How I remember the saying on the side of the vehicle, to serve and protect. Well, here's my situation. I'm an adult black male who had over 5 decades of experience with the police. And to be forthcoming in all knowledge, I spent my last 2 years in the Navy as a military policeman myself, and I got to see the other side of it as well. So I have a understanding of it. But it still didn't make me change my opinion that I got immediately growing up in the projects in North Philadelphia of policemen. Because absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's as true now as it was when Shakespeare wrote it, and when the Caesar that they were talking about. If you give someone unlimited power with no check on it, then they're going to show their ass. Hence, our government is set up with checks and balances to keep absolute power out of them. But what we allow these policemen on the street with their badges and their guns, and they essentially are princes of the city. They have absolute power. Well, that shit has got to stop, because they've abused it for so long now. And now the brazenness of it, because we have technology that can show it. It's all over YouTube. Before I went and did this, I worked myself up again watching another video, 30 minutes called Cops Bully. It's on YouTube. I'm going to put the link up so you can see it later on. It'll be on my fan page of Big Daddy Speaks. But it just, I get pissed off all over again. But that's not necessary, because all I have to do is get up in the morning, turn on the news, and if it isn't broadcast in my corporate controlled newscast, it will be on a link somewhere on the internet, and someone will send it to my page, and there I am, pissed off again. But I've had the experience of, I'm just going to gloss over a whole bunch of stuff, because we're going to come back to all of this in later episodes. But here's one of my personal faves. They used to call it driving while black, which every black man, every brown man, I live in San Diego now, every brown man knows too. I've talked to a bunch of my Mexican and Latino buddies, and they've had the exact same experience, that, you're going to get pulled over more often. You're going to get harsher treatment. They're going to disregard your rights. And you just know it. One of my favorite stories here in San Diego, 10, 15 years ago, I was younger. This was black. If you were wearing a beard at the time. But I'm riding on my bicycle through the back street behind my apartment. And the cop turns to the side and pulls me over on my bicycle. And he stops me and he says, what are you doing there? And I'm like, I'm riding my bike. What's it look like I'm doing? And recent paralegal certification I had just got before I got out of the Navy, knowing my rights, and having been a military policeman, I knew my rights anyway. I said, what exactly was your probable cause for stopping me? And he was taken aback immediately, which, knowledge freaks him out. And he said, well, we've had some break-ins in the area. I looked at him. I looked at the bike I was on and said, does it look like I got a TV set on my handlebars? He said, well, I'm not going from a profile. Really? Really? So he literally pulled me over, asked for my driver's license on my bicycle, asked for my driver's license, ran my name, I had no hits, and he let me go and said, well, there's lots of break-ins around here. I'm like, yeah, right. So, so my experience, and that's just one of the many. I could go on, every black man can. But my experience with the police is they don't serve me, they don't protect me. So to me, they serve no purpose in my life. None. They were talking about a possible strike here in San Diego a year and a half ago, somewhere around there. And people were like, oh God, what are we going to do with the police? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Because literally, that means I'm going to get hassled less. It don't mean I'm being any less protected because I protect me. As simple as that. But there are all types of offshoots of that driving while black. It's walking while black, riding a bicycle while black, just breathing while black. Any of that stuff can get you in deep doo-doo. I raised my sons. I had 3 young boys, and I remember raising them. And I remember when I was a kid, they would always tell you, if you get lost, find an officer, and he'll take you home. I wasn't insane enough to tell my young black men to go out and find an officer and ask them to check. I said, okay, if you get lost, walk in a firehouse. Grab one of those firemen and say, okay, could you tell me how to get, so far, I have never heard of a fireman refusing to knock down the fire in somebody's house because they're black. So I give them a pass. I'm like, okay, you can go to them, but I'm not sending my sons to walk up to a cop. Are you kidding me? I mean, hello can get you shot. When I get stopped by the police, I literally put my hands out the window, and I heard them tell me, oh, you don't have to do that. I'm like, oh, wait, I don't want you to think I'm reaching for shit. Here are my hands. You can see them. There are no furtive movements. I'm not reaching for anything. And when I do have to go for my ID, I alert you, sir, I am reaching into my glove box for my registration. Here I go. It sounds ridiculous, but these are survival tools. This is what you do. I'm going to, so I'll be coming back to this because it's such a huge issue. I can't do it all in one of these. But right now, I'm opening up the floodgates. If you have comments, shoot them to me. One of the other things, rather than just go through the litany of complaints I have right now, because that'll be in other things, I have other complaints. Besides them beating the crap out of us every time they get an opportunity, whether your hands up or down. Or, and matter of fact, to the point where an ass whooping is a good thing, because at least they didn't put 40 bullets in your ass. Let me jump ahead. Here's some solutions. Something just to mull over for the next time we talk about this. I jotted down a few. We need more black cops. I have always, for that matter, we need cops we need more Mexican cops. We need more Puerto Rican cops. We need more Filipino cops. We need more Chinese cops. We need more cops of color. Period. That blue line is too white. Because when you get a few black officers into black cops, oh, we got black cops. Yeah, he bleeds blue. And the reason he bleeds blue is because he has to acculturate to that blue culture he's in. Now, what we need is to get enough people of color in there where that blue culture has to acculturate to us. So we need the way black people join the military, and I'm one of them. I've spent 15 years in the Navy, got my long honorable discharge and went on. But instead of that, I would have been better used by my community serving my country, stand right here and put a badge on. If I had a time machine, that would have been what I would have done. It would have been better for my community in any case. The other thing, besides more black cops, we need independent cop watchers. Independent cop watchers. As it is right now, everybody's got a camera, but these cops, these Nazis will come up and they just destroy your camera. try to arrest you for filming them, like we don't have the First Amendment right to film them. And on top of that, if citizenry does not police the police, who does? But they do not like you watching them, because what's done in the dark comes to the light, especially if you got a camera. And they do not want that. But we need more independent cop watchers, and it needs to be spelled out in law that citizenry has a right to film the police while they work. As long as you're not up in their grill, blocking them from doing what they work, and you're far enough away, and we all got cameras with lenses that can jump right up in Nat's ass, there should be no problem. If you ain't doing the wrong thing, then it should be no problem filming you, right? We need independent judgment of police. I haven't lived in San Diego since 89 when I got stationed, 87, excuse me, when I got stationed here. I got out of the Navy in 89. I got stationed here in 87. I've been here all these years. I left for 5 years, moved back to Philly, and then came back out here 5 years later. I have never heard of a bad shoot here other than the Sagan Penn case 20 years ago, which every cop has heard of. And another case I'll go into at another time. But other than the Sagan Penn case here in San Diego, I've never heard of the DA here or whatever the governing body is calling for a bad shoot. They shoot an old lady with a stick, a guy with a glue gun. These are cases that I actually remember from 10, 15 years ago when I was living here that they actually did. Just insane stuff that they got. Oh, that's a good shoot. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, we need independent people to judge, an independent body to judge the police. Take it out of the DA's office. The children don't belong there. More cops from the communities they serve. One of the problems in California, Johnny Carson said it like 20, 30 years ago. I was watching one of his broadcasts, and I remember him saying he's from originally in New York, and he said, he couldn't think of any place else in America where the police, the communities would accept the policing they do in California, because they're like, and the cops now they're everywhere like that. They're like an occupying army. It's like our soldiers in Iraq. They are not there to serve you. They are there to herd you along and bully you. They're not people you grew up in your neighborhood who became a policeman who's there to, oh, hey, Bob, how you doing? He actually is there to help you. We need people that are from the communities they serve, or at least live in the communities they serve. You can't be living 40 miles out of town and then drive in the police. You have to live in that town. That way, these are your friends and neighbors that you're treating like shit. And that's a different thing, because you'll be socialized. Oh, wait a minute, I know Bob's brother. He's a friend of mine. I better talk to him like I got some sense. We need to have cops come from the vicinity, from the place that they're policing. They need to be from there. They need to live in that community. So they're part of that community. They give a shit about that community. They give a shit about the people in that community. And the other thing, cameras on cops? Good God, yes. And the other thing, like here they got them in San Diego, and I understand you can turn them off. Whatever technology they need, those things should not ever go off. If they go take a leak, that thing should be on. They should be able to go back and back in the office and edit that out. But that thing should never go off. Like they had a case here recently where the cop had turned it off because he was at lunch or something and then ran into some shit and forgot to turn it back on. But that's bullshit. What's the purpose if he can turn it on and off whenever he feels like it? Constantly running camera on the dashboard, on his ass. Those are some of the off-the-cuff solutions Big Daddy's putting out there. But we've got to do something. I cannot watch our children being bullied and beat down by these people anymore. It's like when I was a kid in the 60s and we were watching the dogs being sicked on the civil rights workers and hoses and whatnot, to the point where as a child, the idea of going to Alabama just scared the living shit out of me. And my mother is from Pensacola, Florida, which is on the border with Mobile, Alabama. And I remember a story when we were kids. We went down there, and my uncle was driving us across the Pensacola border. I'm in the first grade. I'm the only one in the family of my brothers and sisters who were right behind me who could read. And I read Alabama. And I said to my little brother next to me, "We're going to Alabama." and they lost their minds. The four of us screamed that car down so bad my uncle